It. So, Edouard, welcome to the Temporis video chat, and we will start our discussion from the Geneva Watch Days. How was Geneva Watch Days for you? Been considered that it's actually the only one event during the whole year after the disaster of Baselworld and the so-and-so results of the Watch and Wonders online.
To be honest, it was, I mean, there's a few perspectives. I think for all of us as a team, as a brand, it's nice to finally see people again and not being, behind computer like we are doing now. We'd love to, to feel the passion, to see the reactions of people. So seeing friends and partners finally again, face to face, was very satisfying. I think the response, the positive response, both from the media, customers, retailers, was incredible. Even though it was a very small size event, very, kind of brand generated cooperation, collaboration. And to be honest, I think we were also very positively surprised as how good the response was.
Tell me from the Moser perspective and about the novelties. I will not go only to a simple statement about these are the novelties. I will be curious beyond the scene, what was really the moment of Geneva Watch Days in the development of the Moser as a brand and product this year?
We said, okay, usually when we go to fairs, we have like 3 to 5 products we launch. Because it's a big fair, there's a lot of journalists, we want to be able to also present a few things, get as much voice as possible. Here we said we're going to present one product. Mm-hmm. It's a very strong product, it's a very important product for us. And we don't want to dilute it. And we're going to focus on that. It's going to be the highlight of the show for us and hopefully for a lot of people. So we came in very prepared for that particular model, which is we call it now the Green Dragon, but it's the Streamliner Center Second Matrix Screen, which is the new model. I'm wearing it right now. Yep. And we came in very prepared. The watches had been around, already delivering in the markets. We didn't have just like one prototype. We had a few watches people can try, and we have beautiful pictures, movies, everything. So we came in very, very prepared, and the response was incredible. I think it's one of the watches that stole the show there, and it's very gratifying because I think it's an amazing product, many years of work, trying to create something different in that very compact, very competitive segment that is the sport chic integrated steel bracelet. But trying to bring something that is from the 2020s and not being stuck in the 70s, like those iconic products that, has been for a few generations, I would say the locomotives of our industry, like the Nautilus and the Royal Oak. We need to bring something new that maybe will appeal to people who are looking for something different, maybe for the new generation. And I'm super excited to see how people react to it.
About the year and the journey of Moser, how was this year for Moser? How was this pandemic time for you as a company, and obviously financially, how was the hit? How big was the hit?
Believe it or not, it's been the best year we have ever had.
Wow!
For different reasons. I think as an independent, keep in mind, I took over Moser in 2012.
Yep.
We've been in crisis for years. We took over, this brand was on the verge of bankruptcy, losing millions, bleeding money, having quality issues, all kind of issues. So we've been fighting for years. The team is ready and has been agile and reactive, etc. So when the COVID hit and suddenly many doors were closed, we weren't used to it. We developed an online platform in 2 weeks. We started selling. Since then, it's 20% of our sales. We were lucky because we launched amazing products. The Streamliner chronograph on the 9th of January. We had the Vanta Black editions with black hands on the 1st of April. We had the collaboration with MBNF that we launched in June. These were silver bullets. And now we have the Green Dragon. We have a few more surprises for the end of the year. We had a lineup of amazing products, and that helped us tremendously. People today want to buy watches, but they want something that is not available everywhere, or is kind of difficult to get, or is very, very appealing. And that's what Moser has always been doing. So yeah, to be honest, it's incredible. I personally don't believe it when I look at the results, but it's been an amazing year.
In terms of number of units, I remember you told me from the beginning that the target for a maison like Moser is not to compete in volumes with Patek or Rolex, obviously, but even smaller ones. And you said, Dan, if I would do it 1,000 pieces per year, it will be great. I remember our good friend Max Busser was telling me once, you know, Dan, my dream was also to make it 1,000. But when I realized that if I'm doing 300, 350, 400, it's more than enough. What is your approach of today?
Well, we do already way more than 1,000. We're more like 1,500. And our objective, and I think maybe it was, it's always been to do 3,000 for Moser. Keep in mind, our price point, average retail price was around $30,000 US. We start at 11, 12,000 US. So we're not in the same price point as Max. Our objective is 3,000 or above with the same average price. This year, we do a little bit less, but we have increased tremendously our average price. Our average price this year is above 42. It's almost 45,000 US. So it's grown because of the collaboration, which was 80,000 watch. We have the chronograph at 40,000. So we have increased our average price significantly, and also because we've done direct sales. So that has a positive impact. But 3,000 is our objective. This year, we're not going to reach 1,500 like we did last year, but we're still going to do more than last year in revenue because we have increased our average price.
Mm-hmm. By the way, how much is the Green Dragon?
Is 19,900 Swiss francs, or 21,900 US dollar.
Understood.
And in euro, 19,000,
I guess. Yeah. About the industry, because you've been always an outspoken person, and I love a lot this. What do you think about the industry this year? What could be the end of the year outcome? I see different studies saying that in the watch industry could be 30% less, 35% less. You are in a very happy situation to not be so less. But what do you think about the industry?
I think they're probably right. It's going to be around that. It's difficult to say, but it doesn't matter. Is it 25, 30, 35? I think there's going to be the gap that we've seen in the last years with Rolex, AP, Patek getting stronger and stronger will be even more so. I think the brands that were trying to catch up by overproducing, they're trying to generate revenue, but without having really the demand, are struggling this year. And all those brands that were China dependent, I mean, you know which one, I don't want to name them. There are a few brands out there, big names, but they were only selling to a Chinese tourist. Well, those brands are being killed this year. And the gap between the very successful brand, I mean, these 3, 4, 5 brands that we have out there, and those mid-range, not mid-range, but mid-segment brands, usually from the big groups, the gap will increase. That's a huge opportunity for brands like us, which are those independents, full volumes, creating amazing products. We will grow, and we're getting a lot of market share. So I think the industry will probably collapse or reduce by 30%. But some big brands will definitely stay quite stable, and a few very small ones will grow a lot.
From your experience, and I will be happy to hear some figures from your own company, but on general terms, how the e-commerce helped the sales in this period of pandemic, and how was been affected the real offline sales?
I mean, online sales, as I said, we implement when 13th of March, the lockdown was announced in Switzerland. The 2nd of April, we opened our online platform. April 5th, we sold our first Vanta Black tourbillon in the US for 80 or 90,000 US dollars, full price. And since then, every month, we did at least 20% of our business online, which is incredible. I would have never thought that people in Kuwait, Italy, US, Switzerland would buy from us online. It helped us increase our gross margin significantly. And today, none of my retailers is complaining. Why? For 2 reasons. First reason we tell them is a lot of people come through our platform, but for most of the products that they have, we drive them to the retailers. We generated a lot of sales at the doors, in the shops, or even if the shop was closed, because people came to us. And then we drive them to the retailers through our platform that generates a lot of leads, we call them. And second, every time I sell a watch directly, I get more margin, but that helps us also reduce the retail price of those products. So when I prepare my collection, I factor in maybe 10%, 15% of direct sales, meaning that I can afford to sell this watch a little bit cheaper globally. So it's positive also for our retailers, because that means we are being more and more competitive because we're selling directly. In the past, we were not competing with the bigger brands because they have higher volumes and they sell through their boutiques. So of course they can afford to have lower prices. For us, going through distributors or retailers, we're losing a significant amount of margin. So I think there's a huge potential in that. It's very curated sales. It's not like somebody comes and put his credit card and say, you know, I want to buy that watch. It's like they meet they talk to our concierge service, really explain to them the product, go through the process with them, and then we do the sale. It's something very different from you know, what you do at the supermarket.
About that point, do you imagine in the next years this 20% will double, and how long will it take?
I don't know if it will double as such. I think what's going to happen for brands like us is we don't want to increase too much our retail, but we will have our own launch. For example, our office in Hong Kong now is becoming a launch. So somebody in Hong Kong is interested to see a specific watch that is maybe not at the retailers because they didn't want to buy it, or is interested in a specific product that is unique or something. They can come to the launch. Maybe we got in contact through Instagram, through our e-commerce, whatever, and then they go and they can buy it from there. Is that an online sale, or is that, I mean, that's a big question. I think it will grow, but it's going to be a combination of our own boutiques, our showrooms, our pop-up stores, our retailers, and our online platform. In China, for example, today we opened in Beijing in August, our first pop-up store in a showroom in Beijing, together with a retailer. So a specialist, they have their own boutiques, but they do with us real boutiques. It's a temporary boutique until we open the real one for 6 months. We have, like, in the atrium of the mall, we have our boutiques. In parallel, we have an online boutique with another partner. Today, we work all together, not to have too much inventory, because we cannot afford to have too much inventory in China. We put all the inventory together. So people can come to the boutique and buy, or they can go online and buy. And the partners, we share the margin with all of them. At the end of the day, what we want is to grow the brand and do sales. And the three parties have understood that. The reason why it's the first time for us that we work, like, not only us with a retailer or an online platform, it's us with a retailer and an online platform, and then working together. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the future. So I think when you say how many percent, I don't know, but I think this kind of combination of online, offline will grow a lot.
You've been very, I will call it emblematic about the Swiss made story. Some time passed after the moment you came with a very tough discussion. How do you see the situation of today? Something changed, or is absolutely the same story?
I think something's changed. I think we've seen the suppliers, people now are more careful. Suppliers have put it in place, ways to produce more in Switzerland. That had a positive impact. I think also it opened a little bit the eyes of collectors who now better understand what's the meaning of Swiss made, which was not the case in the past. So I think it's a combination of the two is been positive. Are things perfect? No, by far not. And that's why we're still not using the Swiss made on our watches. We are 100% Swiss. We don't want to be just Swiss, simply Swiss made, like any brand, even at products selling at 100 Swiss francs. So things are not yet perfect, but I think there's getting a little bit more transparency. And that's what's the most important to me. Is like people need to be, that the Swiss made is a rule of 60% added value, etc. is not the biggest issue. For me, the biggest issue is not to be open about it and explain to it and transparent and let the customers know what it means, rather than trying to kind of hide it.
One last question is about crazy things. You've been also famous to do crazy creations.
Yeah, people hit me afterwards.
A part of that. And I remember one of them, that interesting grass watch.
Moser Nature watch.
Nature watch. What should we expect? You don't have to tell me a secret. Just let's say, point out what is the next crazy creation of you.
Well, to be frank, we never know. I mean, we did the first one was the Swiss Alp watch. Then we had the Swiss. It was the Apple Watch, the Swiss Alp watch. Then we did it was connected watches. Then we did the Swiss made with the Swiss Mad watch. Then we did the Swiss Icon watch, which was about marketing bullshit. It was backfired a little bit. And then we did the Moser Nature watch that was last year. And this year was the collab watch, the one we did with MBNF. The message there was about collaboration, etc. People didn't see it as part of this kind of collection, but for us, it was kind of a symbolic product expressing a specific idea. What's coming next? I mean, there's tons of things. There's tons of ideas that we have, but we don't have, I think now we have kind of established who we are, the message, what is important to us, tradition, transparency, authenticity. These are elements that we've been fighting for, and those products were there to express that. Today, I think a lot of people, in the head of a lot of people, it's clear what Moser is, that there is a little bit of this rebel kind of approach, and the fact that we are fighting for those elements. So we're less in the need to do that. And maybe that's why we now maybe have more of normal products that we're launching. But even a product like this one, in a way, is provocative because it's a different design. People are not used to it. It's very polarizing. But that's what Moser all about. It's trying to create new things, different things, not trying to follow any trends.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to you.
My pleasure.
I wish you all the best to succeed in everything you do with Moser.
Thank you very much. You too.